What's up, dogs? Nyctopluvo, and we're back again with another recent games pickups. And a lot of people have been saying that they're a bit long, so I thought that for this one we'd try to keep it short and brief with like most of the games, and then we'll elaborate more in a podcast that will come out alongside this. So if there's like any game you see here and you want to know more about it, we'll probably talk about it there. So without any further ado, of course, me and Drew both got Mario Tennis Aces, which is awesome. You know, there's the story mode and everything, and it's Mario Tennis. Not much to say about it. Moving on.
Nothing right now.
Should probably move on to Resident Evil because we got a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got a lot of them.
Yeah.
So we both got the remake, the first one,
Resident Evil remake,
and we started playing this together a little bit. And it's really fun.
Yeah.
And then you also got a couple other ones.
Yeah, for other Resident Evil games that I picked up over the course of the time since we did our last video was I got Code Veronica X for the PlayStation 2. I got the Revelations collection for the Switch. And I got the Dark Side Chronicles for the Wii.
Alright, moving on. Got two little Game Boy Advance games here. The first one I bought because it was thought it would be kind of funny because of how silly it might be, but it's That's So Raven. It wasn't particularly silly, it was kind of just like a boring game. And then I also got Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is the one with the little like Mario toys. And
Light up Marios.
yeah, and it's kind of like, it's a little bit of a puzzle platformer kind of. It's real fun.
Yeah. So this one is Yu Yu Hakusho Spirit Detective. It's the title of the show, so I thought it'd be different. I bought it because Michael had one. Long story short, this one's like an action beat 'em up brawler type deal, and it's not super good.
Yeah, the one I had was it was kind of like a turn-based RPG. It was really cool. So this one I picked up because I've never seen it before, and I thought it was interesting. And it is The Simpsons Wrestling. It's a pretty standard wrestling game, but with The Simpsons.
So the PS1 games that I picked up, I have Die Hard Trilogy, which I've been looking for ever since. In the last one I picked up those light guns, and I've been looking for stuff to play. And this is a greatest hits, but the price was right, and I can never find Die Hard Trilogy, so here it is. And then I also picked up Bug's Life.
Which I was actually surprised that he picked up because I played that game as a kid. I really liked it, and I didn't realize other people thought it was good.
Yeah, I've heard good things, so that's,
Keeping with the PS1 though, this is a game I found that I also played as a child, and so Rayman Rush. It's like it's a Rayman game, but it's like a platformer racer, and it's actually a lot better than I remember.
And keeping with Rayman, I picked up Rayman Legends Definitive Edition for the Switch. That was just recently a price drop. I've played Rayman Legends many times, all of you know what it is, but this is just the most complete edition, I suppose, and it's portable, so always fun. I also got two more Switch games, fire off real quick. Octopath Traveler, everyone knows what it is. It's fantastic fun from what I've played. No complaints there. And I'm not placing my hands on the other one right now, but it's Wild Arms Reloaded, which is a remaster of the 90s arcade game with the shoot-'em-up cowboy game. It's a ton of fun, probably the best arcade experience on the Switch. No complaints about it. I have a ton of fun. It's multiplayer. Fantastic fun again.
So this next game I got is Rubu Twisted Towers, and I actually got this game because I saw it recently mentioned in a Metal Jesus video about Wii hidden gems. So basically it's like a puzzle game. You have like these shapes like falling down from the sky, and you gotta like move these towers to have the shapes go through like the the right shaped hole, and it gets faster paced, and it's real fun.
This one everyone's heard of, it's Epic Mickey. Similar to Okami, you got a paintbrush, all that kind of stuff. This is just one that it's been on my radar for a really long time, I never picked up, again, price was right. This one is my personal favorite point-and-click adventure. I've played this game on the computer for a very long time, and I just adore the Sam & Max games. I love Sam & Max as a franchise, and I have very high recommendations for this. I think it's hilarious, and I think the puzzles are intuitive and neat. So, yeah.
Next up, I got Geon Cube, this is kind of like a random buy. I saw this, and the back says it's a puzzle game, like a fast-paced puzzle game. I wouldn't really call it that. It's kind of like more like a sporty kind of game. Basically, like you're this cube and you're going around collecting these like little pellets, and when you get enough, you can go to the other side of the board and score against the other player you're playing against, and there's attacks and defenses and stuff, and it's really fun.
Yeah. These two, Michael and I both played Yoshi's Island a lot when we were growing up. We played it a ton on our Game Boys. We never had the original Island now.
Mm-hmm.
But both of these are successors to that. They have the same gameplay style. I got Yoshi's Story for the N64 and Yoshi's Woolly World for the Wii U. And they play like Yoshi's Island.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot more to say about that. Woolly's World is co-op, though. That's really neat. Not something I expected.
Yeah, and even if you're not playing with a co-op partner, you can, like, if you have the Yarn Amiibo, you can slap it in there and play as two Yoshis. Next up is Worms: A Space Oddity, and it's pretty much still Worms. This game's got a bunch of different weapons since there's a space theme, and there's a lot of motion controls, which is really interesting for the gameplay.
Boom blocksy.
Yeah, like when you like throw grenades, you really have to like you whip the nunchuck, or not the Wii remote. Yeah, but it's standard Worms motion controls and a bunch of different weapons.
So what I have, I kind of lumped these two together because they're similar. They're both Shin Megami Tensei games. This is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, which was originally called Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, but they kind of dropped the Shin Megami Tensei branding for whatever reason. It's a JRPG, kind of dungeon-based. There's not a lot to do outside of the dungeons. And it takes place in Tokyo. That's fun. It's about like pop stars and like gravure models and stuff like that. So neat, kind of modern Japanese flashy pop culture. And then along those same lines, this is Persona 3. Huge fan. This was my first Persona game I played back in the day. If you know anything about the Persona franchise, this is what really started the formula, and it did a fantastic job of it at the time, and it stayed fantastic throughout.
Next up, this is Crazy Frog Arcade Racer, and it's really just a meme of a game. It's like Mario Kart, but with Crazy Frog. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good game, but it's good to play for like a laugh.
What I have here, a couple of games that kind of deserve to go together. They're very similar in scope, I suppose. This is Lollipop Chainsaw. Been looking for it forever. This is not the case that it came in. It came with the original insert, but it was in a black GameStop case. So I bought a copy of Battlefield 3, and I cannibalized the case. But I adore Suda51. I love everything he does. It's stylistic voice. They're not super involved games necessarily. They're action brawlers generally. So like No More Heroes, Killer is Dead, and then Lollipop Chainsaw. But they're fun. They're not they're kind of turn off your brain and enjoy. And then huge artistic license. A lot of very stylized stuff. Right here, Splatterhouse, which is another one I've been looking for a while. It came out to lukewarm reception, but it got a cult following. It's, of course, a continuation of the Splatterhouse series from the 90s. What's really cool about this one is that by playing through the game, you can unlock the original games, which they're not super easy to find, so I appreciate having a way to play them, because I don't currently own them.
So next up for me is Twisted Metal Black. Twisted Metal, you know what this game's probably like. I know a couple of friends of mine really enjoyed this game, so I thought I'd pick it up.
I have a couple of DS games here. First off, I have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which the case is right here. Michael loves this game. Michael and I both love the original Luigi's Mansion. We've been playing them since we were kids. I've never played this one, never owned it. I just recently picked it up. I saw it. Price was right. Case was nice. So I figured I'd give it a shot. I did give my case to Michael just because Michael really loves the game, but he didn't have a case, and there's really no good way for him to get a case right now, so I let him have my case, and I'm okay. I carry my Switch, or my 3DS games in the case with him, and a carrying case I have for my 3DS. So I don't mind having the loose cartridge, at least for now. A friend of mine gave me Animal Crossing Wild World as a gift for the DS, just because I was lamenting over the fact that I haven't played Animal Crossing in a while, and this is the one I started at. So this one was a nostalgia trip to play. And then real quick, this one. This is Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow for the DS. I only just realized about 15 minutes ago, when I got this, I asked the lady at GameStop for Castlevania Circle of Moon, and she came back and checked me out with this on the counter. I already have Dawn of Sorrow, so I'm going to see if I can return that and get Circle of Moon.
Alright, so next up is Odd World's Stranger's Wrath, and it's kind of like a 3D platformer kind of shooter, and all the ammo for your guns are like these live little monster things, and there's, you know, different monster like ammo things for like different purposes. I've only played a little bit, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and that's like a first-person shooter across character platformer. It's really neat and interesting, and I don't think enough people know about it. I also want to mention that Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, only disappointed because I already own it. It is a fantastic game. I think it's a great follow-up to Aria of Sorrow. I just wish it was Circle of Moon. This one, kind of funny story. This is Star Fox Zero. And I had a thing last time, I think I talked about it, where I went to buy Star Fox Guard from GameStop. I went to buy a used copy for $1. And when I went, because I had a brand new copy that I had gotten before. And when I went to the register to get the used copy, they took the box from me and gave me a brand new copy. And when I went to buy a used copy of Star Fox Zero, they also took the used copy and gave me a brand new copy. So for some reason, whenever I go to GameStop to buy Star Fox games, they give me brand new copies of them, even though I bought the used ones.
Alright, so next up for me is a game I've been looking for a little while. It's called Outrun 2, and pretty much it's an arcade racer, and like the specific reason I wanted this is because there's this mode called Heart Attack mode, and basically you have this girl in the car with you and you're trying to impress her by doing like whatever she says, like drifting and like passing up cars, and yeah, it's a pretty fun game.
Hearing Michael describe it, it always makes me think of Crazy Taxi, and I love Crazy Taxi. So is Outrun multiplayer at all? I mean, I imagine that game mode isn't, but
no.
I'd like to try it. This one I've been looking for a long time. Michael knows. We've gone to some shady areas just to see if we can catch a glimpse at this. It's Streets of Rage 2. Everyone knows Streets of Rage, and it's, you know, again, it's absolutely fantastic. Michael and I were capturing footage for this video, actually, and we were playing it, and I just kind of got caught up, and I ended up playing it for like an hour because it was only supposed to be like 15 minutes of footage, but I loved it so much that I just kept playing.
Alright, so next up, I got Bust-A-Move 2, or Bust-A-Move Arcade Edition 2 on the N64. You know, it's just more Bust-A-Move, you know, just puzzle game action going on. Not much to say about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, fantastic. WarioWares, this one I just picked up recently.
We've talked about it plenty of times on this channel. So.
I got a fantastic deal on this one. Very excited. Probably my favorite game in the franchise. I think that's the same with you.
Yeah.
Smooth Moves is a close second, though. Smooth Moves
is good, but I like this one because of the multiplayer, like game modes and stuff. And then you also got the new one.
Yep, WarioWare Gold. It came out yesterday. Haven't had much of a chance to play it. I've played through like 70% of the story, but the stories of the WarioWare games are just the beginning. They're the tip of the iceberg. I love it. I don't know what else to say. I do have one thing to say about it. They added separate characters. So you know how like the microgame sections are split up by characters?
Mm-hmm.
They added separate characters so that it's not just 9-volt. There's a character there's 9-volt, there's 15-volt, and there's 18-volt. So you get 3 different Nintendo-themed minigames, which is very good. Microgame.
So I'll just fire these ones off real quick. Yes, I got Time Splitters 2 for the 5,000th time on the GameCube, which is the preferred platform.
Indeed.
Super hard to find for some reason on the GameCube. And then I also got a little collection completion as far as the GameCube is concerned for Mario Party. So I got 4 and 5, and I haven't played 5 yet, but I know 4 feels like, you know, the exact step up from like the the N64 version, because like the GameCube ones have a specific feel versus like the N64 ones. This one still feels N64-ish.
Yeah. Mario Party 5 is personally my favorite in the franchise. I think it's just the most fun. It's got the best side content and all that. It's amazing. I guess I can't do that. So, this is Super Mario Strikers. I'm sure we've talked about it a few times.
Yeah, it's Mario Soccer, you know, power kicks and stuff going on.
Super violent, super cool art style. Love everything about it. I think it's just a great game. But you know about it. You've heard about it. This one you probably haven't. It's called Hunter the Reckoning. This is a co-op zombie kind of top-down twin stick shooter kind of esque game. It's its own demon a little bit, but it's kind of an action game. It's kind of generic. It's not super innovative or creative or interesting, but Demi and I played it, and it kind of just felt like something we would have played in our childhoods, and it was fun. I enjoyed myself.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I picked this up, haven't opened it up yet, but it is the Pearl and Marina amiibos. They look really good for like,
Oh yeah.
you know, as far as amiibos are concerned. They're pretty top notch. And then moving on, I got Splinter Cell Blacklist. Not a whole lot to say about it. I just bought it on the Wii U to see like if there was utilization. That's not a word. If they utilize the gamepad in any interesting ways. They do a little bit, like when you like look underneath doors and stuff. And you know, it's just Splinter Cell, you know, spy games and whatnot.
These two, pretty excited about, to be honest.
Maybe you should move on to that one since it.
That one? Oh yeah, I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, this is. Don't have much to say about it because everyone knows what it is. It's Metal Gear Solid 2. Personally, I don't know. I don't know where it falls for me. I adore Metal Gear Solid 2. I think it's fantastic.
I'm sure you don't need us to tell you what Metal Gear Solid 2 is.
Kind of the controversial one in the game, but or the controversial game in the series. I adore this one. I think it's fantastic. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I don't even hate Raiden. Whatever. And then, real quick, you probably at least heard of these two. I don't know if you know too much about them. Beyond Good and Evil is a combat platformer. People love it. It's an old Enix game. Kind of lighthearted but dark story about like corruption and stuff. And Jade's a reporter type deal. She takes photos and I don't know much about it. I haven't personally played it, but I know it's a beloved game, and I hear it's very good. But also the sequel is coming out, I'd say soon, but definitely not soon. But it looks pretty ambitious to the level of No Man's Sky, so that should be interesting. And this one everyone's heard of. Again, I don't know how much people know about it. This is Red Dead Revolver. It is it's the first game in the Red Dead franchise as Rockstar envisioned it. I think someone was taking care of Red Dead before Rockstar got their hands on it. But this one is level based.
It's real fun.
It's really cool. It looks fantastic. It's probably one of the best looking PS2 games I've ever seen. But it plays really cool and it's got neat enemies, neat story, and I think it was just kind of the only thing of its caliber at the time. So that's really neat.
So you mentioned a lot earlier on about your games, about the price being right, and that's why I bought these two games, because the price was finally right, because Call of Duty games are always really fucking expensive, I feel like. So I bought these both pretty cheaply. So it's MW2, you know, this is the one everybody, I feel like my age, like drooled over,
grew up on,
had an orgasm over, you know.
Call of Duty 4 was a little bit before our time. It was like a year or two before.
Like MW2 is where everybody hopped on.
Yeah, MW2.
And then Ghost is kind of like where I hopped off, I feel like, of the Call. No, Black Ops 2 is where I hopped off. But this one I bought mostly because I wanted to try that like alien survival mode, so.
My first Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 2, and my last Call of Duty was Black Ops. But I liked Black Ops. I enjoyed it. I just never.
Ooh, this next game's fun if you're going where I think you're going.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk about both of these real quick. How many you got?
I'm running out.
Okay, yeah. So, These ones, I knew about this one. This is Blood Rain. Blood Rain is... Whew. Blood Rain's interesting.
It's kind of like a B-movie video game.
It's
I guess you could say.
exactly a B-movie.
It's bad,
game.
but it's
Or,
good.
It's
you know?
It's just kind of like we've very briefly played it, but in that
We'll
very brief
talk
time,
more in depth
Yeah.
about what happens in the podcast.
just so much-
There's a story about
so
it.
much stupid shit happened in like the 15 minutes we played it, and there's just a lot of. It's really ambitious in certain areas, and then not at all in other areas, and it's really interesting. And Demi is a fan of the Blood Rain franchise to some extent. It's kind of a muted kind of like, yeah, I love it, but it's Blood Rain.
Yeah.
you know. And this one I picked up. I see it occasionally, and the box is really what got me. Like, I always talk about these every time we do one. I usually buy at least one game just on the box art. You know, something looks interesting, and I pick it up. This is Demon Stone. I've seen it around a couple of times, and it always looked interesting to me, and I love the box art, the super high contrast red on white. Something I did not realize, and if I would have just read Forgotten Realms right at the bottom here, Forgotten Realms is a section of D&D. So there's the Wizards of the Coast logo on the back. This is a D&D game that was on the PS2, and it was neat from what we played. It's cinematic. It's an action hack and slash.
So next up for me is a stealth game. From a stealth series I don't play very often, but I feel like I should get into, and that's Hitman. This is Hitman Absolution on the 360. You know, it's kind of like hiding in plain sight, kind of like stealth. And actually, from the short amount of time I played it, I very much enjoyed it, and I'll probably play some more more of it, and report back at some point.
Look what I found. It's Wild Arms. Yeah, I just have the cartridge here. Somehow I managed to... I know kind of along the lines of what happened. I had opened the game immediately. I didn't put the case anywhere, and I don't know. I live at home when I'm not at school, so I think one of my family members moved the case, but I just couldn't place it. But right here's the cartridge. It's there. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I got 2 more games.
So do I. I'm doing it together.
Alright, cool, because these two wouldn't make sense together. We got Soul Calibur 4 here. You know, Soul Calibur is real fun. And this one is the one with Yoda and Darth Vader. Didn't get to play Darth Vader because you have to unlock him, but did get some Yoda gameplay. You guys will probably be seeing that now. And you know, it's Soul Calibur. It's really fun. And I don't know if the other ones you could customize your character, but I know you can in this one.
3 on 1.
Okay.
Create a soul. So these two are the same game, but
One's a remastered.
one is
looks
the remastered.
surprisingly really good for an Xbox.
Yeah. Game I've been wanting to play for a long time. Very much. I've always maintained, at least when I was younger, I was like, oh, my collection will be complete when I get this game. Like, and I pointed out, I probably wouldn't have gotten it, but I got a really, really good deal. $30 off.
Price is right.
$30 cheaper than any time I've ever seen it before, and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it.
Let's stop beating around
Yeah,
the bush
I guess
here.
so. This is Conker's Bad for a Day, and then Conker Live and Reloaded. I just happened to find them both at. I happened to find them both within the time between this and the last one. No complaints. Absolutely adore this game. From what I've played, this one's neat. Added some new systems, kind of weird, but it's, you know, if you haven't played this one in a while or you don't have access to this one, this is a cheaper and fresher, I guess, experience. I would definitely stick with the original, personally.
So, the last and final game, right?
I believe so.
Alright, so the last and final game is Alan Wake, which is a psychological action thriller game. I don't know... Yeah. I don't know if it says it anywhere, but I'm pretty sure this is very much inspired by Stephen King's work.
Mm-hmm.
And
it gives that impression.
it follows the story about a writer who goes to this town, his wife goes missing, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and it's really fun. I played it back in the day, never beat it. I don't know why, like I rented the game, had a great time, then never thought to buy it, but you know, now I have it, so I'm like, this is actually one of the games I'm playing currently to beat through this and like Resident Evil. So yeah, that will conclude this episode of Recent Games Pickups. Please join us for the podcast. We will dive deeper into this whole friggin' buttload
This whole mess
of
of games.
goddamn.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not
not
even
gonna pick
all
mine.
of them.
Mine's on the whole table. I'm not even gonna touch them.
Yeah.
They're all over. I think I had like.
I can't
32
guarantee
games.
we'll talk super in depth about every game. You know, I guarantee you that So Raven will not be brought up.
No.
But
I probably will talk about Yu Yu Hakusho to detail my complaints, I suppose.
alright, well, join us there, guys, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Catch you later.